Yeah, obviously we've been falling in a little bit of a pattern on the road where we have lapses and it costs us in certain an outcome in one game on the road, and then the other game on the road we either weren't quite ready or were fatigued on that second day. And so I thought against Dixie we really played a quality game. We had two basic breakdowns in that first half. We gave up some easy buckets in transition and some easy baskets against baseline out of bounds. Outside of that, we were pretty solid. We turned it over too much, but we adjusted to the physicality of the game, and I thought that second half might have been our best basketball of the year. We really executed at both ends and really controlled the game, and then they have a very good guard, and he hit a couple of tough shots at the end of the game. And so if we'd have just been better against baseline out of bounds and transition that first half, you're not leaving it up to a random shot or two that affects you at the end. But it was a great team effort. The guys fought like crazy, and I do think it was one of those games that kind of helps us get ready for the tournament and what we're going to face. And then on Saturday, I think it's a combination of things. We got a couple of guys physically that aren't 100%, and then I just don't think we're have the maturity yet in terms of how new this travel is for so many of our guys. To understand what they need to do, and it's different for everybody to really be ready on that second day. But getting to the hotel at 3 a.m. after a really emotional loss, we really just ran out of gas on that second day. It was not a very good team effort. So,
and looking ahead, two more games on the road, kind of complete a 4-game road trip, so to speak. What do you know about Regis and Colorado Christian?
Yeah, so Regis is extremely talented. They just have they just are, and a little bit like us in that they have a lot of new guys and new roles, and so they're finding their way still. And so, but their talent level is as good as anybody in the league, and they have a great coach. And so, it's not if they figure it out, it's when. And you've seen that on certain days they've had some great games, and then they've struggled to score at times. And so, going there against a very talented team, it'll take a great effort for us. And then Christian, when you look at their overall record, you obviously think that they're not as talented as the other teams, but the reality is they've been in almost every game, and they're very well coached. They're going to fight really hard. And last year, I was just watching the game from last year. We got up early and seemed like we were in control of it. We just finished the half poorly. And then the whole thing flipped, and we couldn't score in the second half, and it was a dogfight to get out of there with a win. And that's just the way it is against them. They're going to fight really hard, and on the road you can't have those breakdowns where you have segments where you don't do things right. And so it'll be a big challenge this weekend, and it will be a good step in the right direction for us if we come with the right approach, which I'm confident this group will, is that it is a little easier travel, but it is 2 games on the road, and we could stay in the same hotel both nights. We can stay on a regular sleep schedule. So I'm confident that our group will take a step, and we'll be able to put 80 minutes together, but it's going to require that.
Questions?
Did you rewatch the Regis film from last year too?
I haven't got to that yet. That's on my list of things to do. I'm going recruiting this week too, so I got a lot going on. But I'm downloading films as we speak to get some of that out of the way when we're on the road. But last year against Regis, we just had 2 just really tremendous basketball games. It was probably 2 of the best played games of the year by both teams. The first one, we had a really tough sequence at the end here and lost a heartbreaker, and then had some things go in our favor at the end at their place and were able to get a win. But they were 2 great teams last year, I thought, and just tremendous games. So we're excited about the challenge. They have every bit the talent or more than they had last year, just maybe not quite as veteran. So it's going to take a special effort to go there and get a win.
I know you got to take every game 1 game at a time, but if I remember correctly, you said at the last year that Regis loss at home was one of the worst losses you've ever endured. Does that kind of linger in your mind a little bit heading into this Friday?
Yeah, you can. Games like that, you don't ever forget. I can tell you about games 25 years ago that ended with that kind of an outcome, and they just kind of get frozen in your brain. And so, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll be really excited about the challenge of it, and just knowing, there's just you can't have any letdown against a team like that because they really do have talent. It'll be very difficult on the road.
Georgie, what do you think has to change when you guys are on the road?
Coach talks about being doubleheader tough and then being mature. And I feel like, we just all got to get out of our comfort zone. This road travel, many of us haven't done it before, 2 games back-to-back, getting into the hotel at 3 a.m. It's just something we're going to have to adjust to, especially having to come back next year and do it all over again. And some of these other guys like Ethan having to do it for the next 4 years. Every team has to do it, and we just got to grow up and be the team to do it first.
Looking at, this is a weird point of season where you face 2 tough teams and then you guys kind of go on the road again, and then you face the exact same teams the month after, before the tournament starts. Where's the mindset going, preparing for, I know you guys aren't looking ahead to Dixie and Westminster next following because you guys got 2 games this weekend, but how are you guys using these games this weekend to prepare for the rest of the season?
I'll take that, I guess. Well, one thing is we really are only facing 2 ball screen coverages, for the most part this year. And our league is split up in 2 divisions, and so now we play everybody twice on this side of the division. And so, we will see one of each of those 2 styles this weekend. So that does prepare us for the rest of it. And then I like it once we get through this weekend because we will have seen it. Everybody we're going to face this year we've seen now. And so now we get to go back and sort of say, okay, what worked, what didn't on the second time through. So, really this weekend is just about Regis and Christian, and it's about us proving to ourselves that we can go on the road and compete it the right way for 80 minutes. And I think you just have to take one step at a time, and that is ultimately the challenge in front of us right now. And then obviously we'll be really motivated to return home next weekend against 2 good teams that we lost to and have a chance for some redemption.
George, Ethan, has there been anything differently mentality-wise going into this week after experiencing the tough road schedule last weekend, getting to the hotel at 3 a.m., the mental toughness that you guys got to go through, but obviously you guys are sitting in the same hotel, so it's kind of a relief. But was there something that Coach hadn't said that you guys took out this last weekend that you guys are taking moving forward?
I wouldn't say really Coach. Our captain Tommy really stepped up in the locker room after the Westminster loss and kind of didn't sweep anything under the carpet. He kind of let it all out, and let everyone know what the deal was, what we need to get done, how we need to grow up, and he was talking about how we need to be more focused and shoot arounds and just game prep and stuff like that. And, he was really emotional about it, and it really touched us, it's his senior year, and we really want to get this thing together for him. And I think that's the biggest thing that's pushing us right now to be better as a team as a whole.
If I can just add to that too, I mean, Tommy's been the spiritual leader of this team, and we've always had a thing where we play for our seniors, and I think everybody left that locker room knowing that we all had a responsibility to find a way to fix this thing. I know Coach Boucher spent all day Sunday watching film, going through things, and put a great edit together for us yesterday. And so I think the group is really focused on sending these seniors out right, and they recognize the potential of this group, and that we got some stuff that we need to fix, but we can fix it, and I think we're all focused on getting us there.
Ethan, from your perspective, maybe the freshman perspective, how have these road trips treated you?
It's hard, I can tell you that. Driving, what was the most, 12 hours we drove to South Dakota, then having to play a game the next day. That was one of the hardest things basketball-wise I've ever done. But as the season goes on, I've been starting to get used to it. I kind of know myself, so I know how to get prepared and how to get rest. So so throughout the season, I mean, it's gotten a little easier, but as Coach and Georgie said, that we need to get doubleheader tough. I mean, it's hard.
Coming off the 4-game homestand, was this kind of a bit of a wake-up call, so to speak? Kind of getting towards the end of the season here, you guys did have a little bit of confidence, and then you kind of get hit in the mouth, especially on the road. Is this kind of like a really kind of a turning point for the season for you guys? Yeah,
I think of the 4 games that we won at home, we were kind of feeling good. We're like, all right, we're a good team. I think we're good where we're at. And then we face these 2 good teams, and they punch us in the mouth. So, you could say it's kind of a turning point for us. We can't just settle where we're at. We always need to get better every day.
Georgie, would you kind of agree this is kind of at that point of the season?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, we tried to make it a point that the turning point of the season was before these 2 away losses. We wanted to get those away losses really bad, you know. But yeah, we got to fix some stuff before these next upcoming games, and especially before we return home. Hopefully, we can return home with 2 wins under our belt.
So, and just one thing to add to that too, I just think that, you know, we've trying to keep some perspective on it too. We obviously have to find a balance to be better, but you know, we're like a play away from winning, you know, at Dixie, who's the first place team in the league, a play away from winning at Black Hills, which is tied for first. And, you know, so I think that if we'd have had those, we would have been splitting on the road through all these road trips, beating the better teams in the league on the road. It's not that we haven't played well in stretches, we just haven't been able to sustain it over the 80 minutes. So I think we are a confident group. I think we know we can go on the road and play well. It's just about having the mental fortitude and the preparation in terms of how we sleep and how we eat and take care of our bodies so that we are able to sustain it for long enough periods of time on these trips. So I'm very confident going into this weekend, and I believe in this group, and I 100% believe we're going to get it to the next level.
Sweet. Last question. This is the question of the week. What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
I don't know about the worst movie I've ever seen, but I just went and seen a movie, I want to say about a week or 2 ago. It was a war movie. I can't remember
Is it
what it was called.
1917?
It was 1917,
Yeah.
and it was really bad.
What?
I thought it was.
Oh my
I didn't think it was that good. I didn't think it was that good. Like I was expecting, like, he only fired like 7 shots.
I guess that's what you want out of movies.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's the best answer we've heard so far.
I got 2 for you.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay, I think the worst movie I've actually ever seen is, I think it was Jaws 4. I think it might have been the worst movie I've ever seen. But I will say, after maybe 25 years of having to travel with women's basketball teams on the road, because a lot of time we don't have to do that here, but we've had to do that a lot over the years. I've seen the movie Love and Basketball so many times, I just couldn't take it anymore. So those would be at the top of my list.
Wow.
I wouldn't say this is like the worst movie I saw, but probably Toy Story 4. I don't really like that one a whole lot. I watched it with my sis. I watched it with my sister. I fell asleep like 30 minutes in.
What do you guys watch on the bus rides, or do you guys even watch movies?
I watch TV shows. Like I usually download TV shows like The Office or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't, now everybody's got their own devices, so we don't have to do it. The sound on the buses is always kind of tough to watch movies with
Right.
the TVs on there, so.
I just listen to music really and try to go to sleep.
Yeah.